of that, they discuss the whole business case and the reasons for the things that go in your preliminary, the things you ask in your preliminary investigation report. But I wanted to start at the end to make it clear to us what is our goal of a preliminary investigation report. Remember what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell management, give them enough information to make a decision. We're going to give them an idea of who's in the project, how much it's going to cost, and I'll go full screen on this, F5. Oh, and of course it shows it on the other screen. I'm breaking this over to here. Monitor. There, now let's see if it'll do it right. There we go. No, that's not the right monitor. Still, it's got it wrong. So view slideshow primary monitor. Let's try that. There's what I want. Okay, so jumping down to, what slide was that? That's our goal. So as we think about this case study and building that document, which is our case study assignment for this chapter, this is the goal of that whole investigation report, to give information for management to make a decision about our project. But that's not the only goal. It's a primary goal is to have them funded, of course, and they'll fund it if they know this, and they'll provide time for you and other project members to work on it based on you're convincing them this is a priority project. So you're going to talk about in your presentation what you found out. You know, the whole scope of the project, summarizing the request and why it's needed. And then in your findings, hopefully these findings are from good preliminary investigation report, which is the big part of the first part of the SDLC, the planning phase. This part will take a little more convincing, and this case for action will show your understanding of the connection to your business. So all of this previous to the case for action is more the systematic, yes, we've done the research, we've done our homework, and how we're going to provide a system or solve a problem by spending some money. This here is convincing them, okay, now that we see how much money we need to spend, what's needed in the system, who we need to work on it, here is why we need to go ahead with it. Bringing in your business information, your expected benefits. And in the benefits, they talk about both the tangible and intangible. There's also intangible. These are all the tangible benefits of your preliminary investigation overview, that you gather good information for the argument for going ahead with the system and some ideas of how to build your system. But there's intangible benefits that come through that. So their goal is that final presentation, recommendation to management, and how that final report is actually formatted is based on your company's expectation, and maybe you can have something to do with producing a quality report that clearly outlines what's needed in the project, why you think it's needed, and how much it's going to cost. And if you do this well, they may take your form and make it the standard for the company. You'd think that you go to a big company and there's a standard way of presenting. It is just not always a standard. Unless you've got a really meticulous manager, they kind of leave that free form, and it's, as long as you can convince them, there is not a super systematic way to present projects. Some people, it's all their personality. They are all fired up and they're enthusiastic. Others, their department's very meticulous, kind of like accountants, not terribly entertaining, but they meticulously go through the numbers to show, yes, that's something we need. And Upper management may look at the numbers a lot more strongly than, oh yeah, we know you're passionate and you really care. We care about the numbers. So even though it may not be as entertaining a presentation, the people with the good homework background of the financing may get the final funding. Okay, so the goal of your investigation is to gather information about these 4 areas of feasibility. And let's go through those. Hannah, what's operational feasibility? That's probably the broadest term. As opposed to yep. And some processes in place that, even though it's a perfect system, if the factory can't produce the goods that supply our system that's ready to go, it's not going to be operational. If it's going to bring in, say it'll allow us to sell a whole new product. Well, if we don't have anyone to buy that new product, we haven't talked to our customers, or say we're supplying to Walmart a lot of products, and we have one more. We haven't arranged for Walmart to make space for our new product on their shelves in a particular spot. Well, we're ready to make it. We've got it in the warehouse. It's got nowhere to go. So there are kinks in operation. Unless those things can happen, our system may be doing what we've exactly expected it to. There may be procedures in place. Like, for example, in our inspection systems at 3M, unless there was a specific schedule for them to check the machine results that our inspection system was showing them that, hey, we've detected a problem, and if you stop the machine now, you'll stop making defective material. Unless they're watching those screens and are trained what to do and what to pay attention to, our system just sits there and happily goes along. The little red light's flashing. Hey, there's a problem. They're ignoring it because they operationally haven't been told or haven't put in their procedure. We stop the machine when we see that system showing error rates above 20%. And so getting that in there sometimes is the biggest battle. Convincing the team or the crew chief on the line that, yes, we're going to pay attention to that new system that those engineers have been in our way for 2 months installing. Now, another thing we have to do, they've been annoying us for 2 months, now they're gone, and we're supposed to watch this system, and maybe they don't have the enthusiasm in place or the directive strong enough to say, yes, we're using this now. And that's why properly doing this investigation, an intangible benefit comes out. Okay, Micah, technical feasibility. What's that? And thinking in terms of our case study, what are some of the technical feasibility issues there regarding the TIMS training information management system? Yeah, and the scope of the number of customers. Do we have a server that can handle that traffic? Is our network, where we have the server, capable of handling that incoming? Is it secure, Mr. Security Class? Do we have the security protections in place? Have we purchased the server software and features, licenses to allow us to do whatever it takes to get that server working? So that's what we're probably strongest on in the technical area. Hannah, what's economic feasibility? And what information do we need to gather to prove that? Right, so you've got the money to pay. So you look at your accounting tables. Do we have have the money on the books to even purchase this, so upfront costs, and like you said, the return that we get for it. And again, that comes into some intangibles like expected increase in sales. Can you measure that? That's a hard thing to measure in any company. And another hard thing to measure I learned in college, how do you measure the customers you've lost? You can measure product sales going down, but you don't know how many customers came in and saw your product and decided to walk away. Your sales may be steady. You're not seeing sales increase. You don't know, have the customers seen it, or have they seen it and walked away? And those are really tough things to measure. And that's where a lot of those intangibles come in. You're talking economic. You're trying to convince, even with this TIM system. What are the economics regarding the TIMS, the training system? Thinking money spent and money in. Yep, cost of development. But you can attach some numbers per person probably. So you attach maybe dollars per course and estimate how many are going to enroll. And then you can put in very broad expectations, like maybe a 10% increase across a few years, and look at those dollars. And then also look at initial upfront cost of your system is going to be big, but then once it's in place, the cost per year after that goes down, but there's still going to be some ongoing cost in maintaining it. And then over many years, you look at the money coming in, curve going up hopefully, the money being spent is big and then small and probably a steady, maybe climbing a little bit just to account for cost of living, cost of technology increase, and just basic inflation. All right, Micah, schedule feasibility. What issues do we cover there? Okay, so how do you estimate the time to do it? What are some of the basic measurements or estimates you make? It kind of goes hand in hand, a little technical. From the technical side, say yeah, there'll be a prototype time. You'll estimate the number of hours, say, to set up a server that you've established in the technical side, and then you make an estimate the pay per person per hour and your basic multiplication. And so your project management tools that we're going to be using, like Microsoft Project, lets you enter that kind of thing. First of all, you establish what needs to be done in the project, and you start estimating, okay, this part we think it'll take this many, and typically it goes in man hours. Estimate 40 hours. Let's say, okay, that's a week of work, full time for a person. Well, you might say, well, they're working half time. Well, that means 40 man hours means in the schedule it'll actually take 2 weeks because they're going to be working part-time on our project, half of their other time on some other project. 40 hours you can multiply by the pay rate for that particular level of person. They're an expert, or they're an intern, or they're middle-of-the-road average worker. You can estimate and assign hour pay rate times hours gives you schedule and some economic costs in the schedule. And that's all built into these programs. First you lay out a schedule, then you can go back and start putting in resources, giving them names, or just say Technician 1, Technician 2, pay rate for technicians. Consultant 1, Consultant 2, huge pay rate for those people. That's what you want to be if you can, a consultant. You can charge hundreds of dollars per hour. Especially legal, those guys get tons. Then Then you have your basic factory worker, testing, training, gathering samples, more technician level. That all falls in. And if you've done your homework well, laying out some tables of estimates of those things, that makes it clear you're not just seat of the pants, here I'm guessing it's going to cost this much and take this long. So we're going to do a little of that homework, kind of making some tables of itemizing the things that need to be done and itemizing the time expected to be spent will give you a believable investigation report. That's the whole deal, is an investigation report that not only convinces them that it's needed, part of convincing them is management seeing that you've done your homework and you have more than just guesses at what the system's going to do. You may have great technology and really cool new stuff, but there's going to be a smart manager that says, okay, this is all really interesting, really cool technology. Okay, we got to make some money here. Are we doing this right? They may actually bring in a consultant to check your answers. So, and now that we've covered the results, going backwards here, seeing then what gets done to bring this information, gather the information. So, looking at the various ways, we're going to spend some time on putting together these interview questions, kind of concentrating on that. So the main case study has to do with deciding who to talk to in the interviews. But I want to stop there and think, right there, what are some of the intangibles in the interviewing people? What's an intangible benefit to your project by doing this interview process? Think beyond I'm gathering information to support the idea that this system is needed. That's the primary, that's very important. What's another benefit of conducting interviews to determine your system feasibility? Yeah, in our case study, it's people within our company as we move ahead with this particular project. Yeah, yep. That's a huge one. It's so easy to go in and say, okay, we're interested, or you don't need half the time you don't need the interview. You know what they're going to say because maybe you've interviewed someone at another factory. You've got maybe 3 factories and you've got the same answer from 3 other places. But just like you said, if you go and ask these people, they're going to get some ownership of your project, knowing that you've paid attention to their answers. You're interested in what they think about proceeding. In a lot of I've done a little search on YouTube videos about management information systems, and a lot of students are doing their project in this horrible little presentation. But a lot of them come and are taught, the IT systems in the past, they did not consider user needs. They just kind of felt like they just kind of dumped a system on you. And a lot of the times they had to, because it was such new stuff, there was nothing really you could ask people about. It was so new, they didn't really have a clue what to tell them. But us IT people kind of get the reputation of and engineers, not just IT technicians, but engineers, there's hey, they come in, make a lot of noise, put in their machines that are supposed to do fancy things and leave, and then expect everyone to just be so wowed by the new stuff, like the engineers saw it the first time, this is really cool. They think everyone else sees it that way. The poor people in the factory see it as, oh man, there's one more thing I have to learn, and I just want to do this job and get home to my family. burdened with learning something else that's slowing down production, which us technical guys back in the lab never had to worry about. We get our pay whether or not production out in the factory is up or down, where they get laid off if production goes down. Their hours are cut, and we give them a system that, especially those quality systems, are they increasing production? Most likely a quality control system is slowing down production. And unless people are convinced that higher quality and being careful that in stopping the machine when we see too many errors is going to kill our profits and cost us money and sales and eventually our jobs, if they just see a system that's in there slowing them down, they made 4 yesterday without having to look at the system. Now their production went down to 3 of the main pallets full of their product because the system told them they were making defective products. They're not getting paid for removing defective products. They get paid for the pallets that go out the door. And unless they're involved in, hey, here's why we're doing this, it's going to take some learning, unless they're convinced that there's a benefit and that we're paying attention to their opinions about where it should go in the room, what the user interface should look like. There's a whole set of chapters involved in proper design of the user interface to the system. Unless we get their input, just like you said, their buy-in, their sense of the system being, or even wanting to use it, is going to affect how your system actually works in the long run. You may have your investigation report have all the exact correct facts, but without that, hey, I've collected these facts and gotten people some buy-in and some awareness of this project and their involvement in it, maybe a perfect system, but does not get accepted by the final factory workers. So that's a big thing, and that means you better have some people skills when you're performing the interviews. Have the question phrased just right. So first of all, when you ask a question, you're not making a promise. You're saying, hey, we're gathering information about features. Be very careful you're not promising features that then get people misunderstanding about what the scope of your project is. The observe the operations. There was I think in this book it talks about a case where there was a study done on how the lighting affects the production in a factory. I think this book had that. Do you remember coming across a reading like that? It's a fairly famous study, and maybe this chapter doesn't have it, but I thought this book has it somewhere. Let me just see if there's a Wikipedia about it. It's a famous study. It's called, they did a lighting study. Let's see if I can find it. Lighting study efficiency. I'm not sure if that's the famous one. It was, yeah, these are all recent ones. Basically, it's a famous case study where these people were studying, the effect of lighting on the factory, and it had a side effect. Not sure if that'll get me the search. That's not it. Basically, they were doing a study, and they told the people, we're studying the effects. I'm not sure if they told the factory workers. They may have just been adjusting the light and then coming around measuring work satisfaction, work efficiency. What they found out was, regardless of what the light was set at, productivity went up whenever they changed the lighting. It was because the people knew they were being studied when they changed the light, and so they knew they were being watched. They increased their production. Whether or not, and it didn't matter how dark or bright it was. It just, uh-oh, the boss is watching effect. And there's even famous physics questions. Somebody's cat. Whose cat? Physics. I'll have to look that one up. It's about when you actually observe the motion of electrons, their actual location is harder to know when you open the box than if you are kind of guessing where it is. The probability versus observation. Schrodinger's cat problem. Basically, observation sometimes affects your results, just with people knowing they're being watched. And you can use that for your benefit, just like the survey. We are listening to your input about a system. Whatever input they give may not matter as much as they know you're paying attention to their thoughts concerning the system. And you end up putting the system in, it gets accepted because people know you care about their input. So that's the concepts in this chapter. And then I kind of want to jump to that, helping you through that, or get started on that survey part. Let's make sure we've covered everything here. The reasons for the project. We're going to be going over the review of the system requests. Oh, remember the last time we started the case study, we looked at the question was in the homework. Where was that question in the homework was? Let's go down to that. In the case study for section 2, the question was whether or not we need a system review committee in the case study company SCR. How would you explain to Jesse the answer to that? Would you generally agree we need one? I think the book is promoting, yes, you should have this. What are some objections that might be raised for one? Remember the possible negative effects of a review committee? Why would someone complain? We don't need no stinking committee because... Okay, because it's going to be hijacked by politics. One big reason I always raise, I don't want more meetings. I want to just go do my work and report and get results. Meetings slow me down. One person always does all the talking and takes over the meeting. Yeah, whether or not whatever we say in the committee, we spend all this time in the committee, and the president's nephew's opinion is what matters anyway, and he's not even on the committee. Well, maybe we're going through the motions. At least we can say we have a committee and we have some sort of credibility, and we'll put up with the politics because we need to have some structure to hopefully have some effect. What else? They say delay. Oh, that's right. We can't make a decision until the committee meets. We can't say to someone's great idea, oh yeah, let's go ahead with that. Well, we'd say to them, this enthusiastic person with a great idea, well, you got to hold off on that. The committee's got to decide, and a month later that person doesn't care about that idea anymore. And right away they were all fired up, and maybe as a manager or a senior technical person, you might be able to encourage that person, hey, don't give up on your idea. This is what happens. The committee has to meet because we need this structure, but you can, in your encouragement to that person, say, don't give up on your idea. Here's what you need to do. Do your homework. Make sure you can answer questions about it. Maybe prepare that person for the delay and try to keep them from getting disappointed. Keep that same thought to yourself. As you have a great idea and you see a need, understand it's as the company gets bigger, it's harder to get the project going. Don't give up. Work the system. And as you gain credibility in your ideas and your skills and dedication, they will listen to you sooner when you have an idea of something that needs to be done. So you've got to build up that reputation. Let's see. What's an advantage of one person evaluating the request and making the decision? There's an advantage there of speed, and if it's a good, smart person, they're probably making the right decision, and you can move ahead. That's one reason many people stick with a small company. They don't have to go through the bureaucracy and the politics. What's an advantage of a bigger company for you and generally for most tech workers? Yeah, there's a ladder, and the ladder's a little more stable. Small companies sometimes grow fast, but sometimes they shrink very fast. Higher risk, possibly higher benefit, more focus and more control by you, but also you have a bigger chance of taking your job home with you. Many people that start small companies, most of them fail, and the ones that succeed, they've spent a lot of time away from their families while making that work. And you have to weigh that out in your commitment to that. So I think looking at page 63 gives you some of the content for that answer. Let's look at our scope statement. We want to kind of lay out a scope, and we can come back to the scope statement. Let's have we laid that out yet? Remember, it can be based on some of those things that come out from that press release that initially came. So let's look at that press release as we think about that scope statement. So I come back to the press release that's up in the online case study. SAD8 for a password. That's for anyone watching the video there. So that's the SAD8 password. Logging in. And the press release was in session 1, wasn't it? Or what? No, it was in section 2. In the inbox, I think. There's the press release. And I think the press release helps us lay out what the scope. Looking through that press release. The training center, wide variety of courses, but then later on gets into the details of the courses. So I would say from here, let's come up with a press release from there. Let's see, how do I get to, let's see, I'm going to go onto there. Let's bring up Notepad. Right, right. I think in the scope statement I would put expandable system, but nothing more than that. Maybe not even mention what we're expanding to, but with the capabilities of more courses later, I think is as much as I put. And maybe in parentheses, here are some things we're thinking about, but no guarantees. Let me bring up Notepad. Okay, so for our scope, our initial mission statement, we could basically formulate, let's see, training center. We're not doing the training center. Our company's doing the training center. We're enabling our company to offer a wide variety of hardware and software courses to the public. Okay, so I might say something like this. In order to allow or enable SCR to offer that variety headed by Jill Martin, is the training group. Is she going to be our project leader? Let's see. She's going to be consolidating the training. Areas of technology represent opportunities. We're expanding our e-consulting, starting our own training business. So maybe add that to there. We're going to be starting our own technology training business using fast-growing areas of information technology. So that phrase might come in there somewhere. And I like this trade. We're using fast-growing areas of information technology. I'm kind of throwing in phrases now that may be incorporated in our mission goals. And let's see here. Ahead. Here's a lot of details. Get some specifics here. So what specifics do we see? Okay, we're promising specific courses right here. There's the what would I say, requirements we're planning to meet. So those are some what would I say, our product is those things, offering courses. Now, in the press release, they haven't said how it's going to happen. We can say promised in the future, more courses promised, more to come. But now, the technical side, what is our project? Well, let's take a look at some more in our inbox here. Project scope statement they're asking for. Let's see here if we give any clue about the scope here. We've got the announcement, training center, IT. Oh, look at this. We're being asked to help design an information system to support this training group. So that's our goal, is providing that information system to support this training group. So that's a main focus of us, is that system. So I'll put that there. As kind of was mentioned in the first one, in order to enable. Now back to that. We list units. We've got a variety of groups in our company. Here's our new training group that's being added as a 5th unit to the company. And they're trying to use a consistent style with existing material. So we may want to look at the style of the other group's goals and word it similarly. There are people in companies that, and it's even here at Emmaus, when we discuss our mission statement, I think to myself, well, that sounds good, but is that really what we're doing? Or is that really helpful for people to understand us? And you can go for hours just talking about one little word, what that means to you, what it means to the customer, what it means to other people at other colleges when we talk about what Emmaus does. Wording your goals, making it not radically different than everyone else's groups, helps to avoid confusion when people are looking through the goals of the different groups. Okay, so I don't remember, where would we find the goal styles of the other groups? Let's try it. So the SCR internet site. Now the data library, I seem to recall somewhere there was in the data library when we did our org chart. Did that have there the function organizations? Let's see if that doesn't say much about the group. It just has some. Okay, so the website. Let's take a look at that website. Like I said, the website. Does it have each group listed? Services. Are we in the about, or is that a... Okay. History. since they mentioned that we want to state our goals similar, maybe it's under employment. Do they talk about their groups? No. Let's see. There's our intranet. Do we have anything more about the other groups? Let's see. I have. Forms. Resources. I don't recall seeing a description of the other groups. I remember the who's in the group record. So maybe we can't find that information. So if we can't find it exactly other forms of group descriptions, we'll just make a nice sounding one if we can't find these others. Maybe they're just saying as advice, if you can, match how other groups describe themselves. It looks like we don't have, or I haven't been able to find the actual description. So back to our voicemail here. I'm not sure what he means by this now. But if you can find anything related to style of other groups, do that when possible. Okay, so we've already discussed a little bit about whether or not we need that, so we're going to answer that question. So then back to our preliminary investigation report. He wants us to explain in our email, where was that? In our request, we'll go back to our inbox. In our next request, there we go, in our project scope statement, we've started that. There you go. That's right. Yep. I was thinking the press release. Yeah, this gives us some good. Yeah, we've even got a schedule there. Boy, that first paragraph kind of says it, doesn't it? So back to our notes, we could expand this and almost first paragraph states it. That first part might just be the more global needs, and then specifically here's the requirements. So you can almost, I suppose you can almost take that word for word. You might fit in some way here the number of courses. So although it says courses, you could be specific right here about the number of courses. How many? The number of instructors. And provide for maybe a goal of total students. So maybe estimate some details in there. We can, from up here, the press release list of courses, we at least have to offer those because we've done the press release. And I'll bet you we could easily come up with another, maybe, what's our list here? 1, 2, let's make this Office 2013, or make it generic, latest Office. Visual Basic is still around, C++, Java, .NET, that's still around. Current technology, we'll be offering more. HTML5, Windows Azure, keep getting calls about that. Let's see. We've already been given by our supervisor 6 months. That may be something that we have to check. Is that feasible? Is that a schedule feasibility? We're getting the word now, must be ready, but that's our manager talking from what they understand. Give me a little more feedback, leeway some point in the future. So that's future. Now, this last sentence, is that future or is that now? I'm thinking that's now. It makes sense that we track credits while they're taking courses now, not provide that. So I'm thinking I might put that in here as current requirements, and then in the future, online registration for courses, and also remember, plus more courses based on the press release. So by kind of gathering, the main two places is that next email in our, what is that title to it? That email related to this project scope kind of lays it out. We want to analyze that for extra details and make estimates. I'd say 10 courses is probably very reasonable. At least one course per instructor, a auxiliary instructor for each one, so at least double the number of instructors as courses for adjuncts. Students, 10 students per course might be reasonable, even 5. So 10 courses, 10 students, 100 students seems like a pretty reasonable, achievable goal. And the grades, that will be tables of probably for each course the student takes, I'd say 10 assignments in a course is probably reasonable. 10 grades seems like might be light. Maybe make that 20. So 100 students, 20 grades, 2,000 grading. A table of 2,000, that's not a huge table of grades and information. So grades would be some kind of database structure to allow that, and that comes in our design. One student says it's 100 students taking one. Say each one student's taking one course. In a course, I'm thinking assignment grades. That may be 20 assignments, but the actual final grades would also be involved there. And remember that if you've seen what we have in Empower, this is a lot like what Empower has for us, where we go in as instructors, we can assign final grades. Are any of your instructors actually giving assignment grades on Empower, or is it just final grades you're seeing? Because I think Empower has a capability of doing assignments. I haven't used it because I've been doing this Moodle software the whole time, and that's hard enough to keep up with the changes with that and try to make it presentable and understandable. Do they in Empower? Okay. I would like us to just have some system that we're all using consistently. I think it's up to everyone, kind of does it their own way, and the only thing we're required to do is put final grades in Empower. They're not saying, hey, we all want to use a similar grading scheme together, and that's maybe something students can demand in feedbacks. If that'd be helpful to you, of having a consistent way of grading, I'd sure like to do that for you. I'm kind of on the techie side pushing certain things. I'd be happy if everyone just used an Excel spreadsheet that we could gather, but I don't even think that we're doing that. Some people have found software 5 years ago that their husband that worked in the school used, and they got a copy of it and been using that. Another guy uses spreadsheets, another guy uses some Google Docs, some guy uses Moodle like me. Lots of possibilities. I'd like to be consistent about that, and that's something that you in our planning analysis, we can establish a consistent system from the very start. Okay, let's get then. Question? That's right. Instructors might be teaching multiple courses. I was thinking if you had a separate instructor for each course and an additional adjunct instructor. I'm kind of guessing from the high end. Probably at the most we'd have 20 instructors if we have 10 courses. But But there's also administration, users, I'll call them advisors. I'm thinking of at the high end, likely our numbers are going to be lower. Like you say, an instructor might be teaching multiple courses. So we're not saying how many we're going to have. We're saying how much our system would be capable of. And always estimating conservatively, so you don't run into a memory problem because you only plan for so much table size because of low numbers. And with memory and computers being fast and lots of disk space, that's usually not a problem. Unless you're unless you're in the thousands, 100,000s of users, you don't usually hit memory limits. So unless, you can see this affecting a big part of feasibility, being adding those scopes in there, and I'll let you make up those numbers. I was just kind of taking a preliminary guess. So, and it's not the actual numbers unless they're way out of line. It's more, do you have a clear statement about what your system's doing? So now let's think about that next part of this assignment is identifying people to interview and preparing a list of questions. Because first of all, we want to be able to assign numbers to questions. We want quantitative, measurable numbers that we can say 50% of our respondents said we need this. 99% said this was not necessary. 30% objected, 30% were neutral, 40% really loved a certain feature. So having questions that are yes or no or a range makes it easier for them to answer. And we're talking about to learn more about the new training activity specifically related to some of these answers. Maybe even answers about how many courses should we provide, or how many students can you handle online, how much time could you spend. Let's think about now questions for a survey. Well, you have the choice of identify the people to interview. That's part of your problem. You can say, and that makes sense, that it would make sense to interview potential students. That would be a good thing to interview. So we can put that down first as people to interview. And we have our org chart. So let's look at that question. So yeah, you can say potential students. We have our current clients, right? What other possibilities? I'm looking at our org chart. Yeah? I think so. Well, let's put it down and then think of questions for them. Yeah, one in the systems group, one out of the systems group. Would we get at least one from each group? Because there's not that many groups, are there? If you want, we could do managers only, or we could do managers and one. We'll be asking managers different questions than the techies if we do. Yep. Definitely web design. Even though we're promising in the scope, that's going to be a future thing. We don't want to build a system that does not have that in mind. So although we may not be actually building the websites, someone from the accounting group, right? Do they have a techie? Interface with the accounting system. We better cover that with some investigation, preliminary questions. And remember, we may know what they're going to ask us or what we need to know from them, but remember, getting their input is getting them on board as well. Then they may never remember exactly what they told you. They just remembered you talked to them about the system. So if you want to assign names, or if you want to just in your answer just put at least one person from this group, and you might let them volunteer, offer some kind of motivation for participating in your survey because it's going to take their time. And be sure in your letter there, compose a nice, as part of this homework, did they ask us to compose a letter or something? I guess we're just being asked to compose some questions. So for your assignment then, to bring on Thursday, compose some closed-ended range questions and some open-ended questions. I think that's pretty easy to compose. Yes or no, do you want this? Yes or no, is this a need? Lay it out in a nice professional way. Try not to make them too leading questions. And remember, the open-ended questions, it's harder to summarize, harder to assign numbers to them, but you can have a place for gathering them in maybe a general comment area, and you can summarize comments. And if you remember, I think when they give you surveys about instructors here at Emmaus, I think they do the same kind of approach. They give you yes, no, have they followed the syllabus, rate their interest, or how well did they engage you, was this information useful to you. Often it's the range 1 to 5, and be very clear, is 1 the best or is 5 the best? And then the open-ended, usually, well actually we have open-ended questions for faculty comments, and they feed those back to us. And sometimes those are the most useful for considering adjusting courses. And just regarding the class feedback, Mrs. Beatty seriously looks at that stuff in a regular annual review of instructors. She pulls out the students' comments on courses and goes through them. So your comments are definitely heard. So I think I'll stop the recording here. And I think the assignment clearly states what's expected here. If you want to use a corporate memo template, makes a nice document. And I gave you some examples of what we've done in some previous courses. One time, I think this was